See you later.
I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
In recent times, yes, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. And I know it's time for me to bid you a very pleasant night, my Straight Talk family in St. Kitts and Nevis and throughout the entire Caribbean region. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and Nevision diaspora, wherever you are around the world, I say greetings. There are many of you in Asia, there are many in Africa, in Europe, and a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I will say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. And if you're joining me for the first time, it is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're also minded to call, the numbers are 869-662-66. That should be 663. Take that back. 869-663-6672 and or 646-829-6672. For those who like the cloak of anonymity, I call it, we give you access via our email platform, which is ZIZ Straight Talk, that's one word, ZIZSTRAIGHTTALK @gmail.com. This is a program in which we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligation. As an observation and review, tonight, my children family, I want to first of all thank Almighty God for guiding us. For guiding us. I want to thank Almighty God, I should say, for giving me another opportunity to join you in conversation tonight on yet another Thursday night. Remember, we are here on Straight Talk every Monday and Thursday from 8 until 10 p.m. And tonight, I'm going to caption, "A promise is a comfort to a fool." I'll tell you much more about that after giving an update on the COVID situation in St. Kitts and the cases, going up and down. As of today, Thursday, 26, as of 6 p.m. today, the confirmed cases, 6 cases are confirmed today, and we still encourage you to apply or to utilize the non-pharmaceutical tools, as we call them. Continue to wear your mask, your sanitizing, and of course, where possible, keep your distance, I should say. The vaccine roll-up and the vaccine situation, I should say, the first doses are at 83.4%, and the second doses moving quite good to 78.3%. That's in the adults, and the target, as we will remind you, was 70% of the total population. Now, for children 12 to 17 years, that's going up slowly as well. First doses just 19.8%, and second doses 18%. My Straight Talk family. And for those of you who have lost loved ones, I want as well to extend condolences to those who have lost loved ones, and we just remind you that death is a process. And in recent times, though, it's now what we call silly season, and people are coming out, and people are using all sorts of methods in terms of getting attraction to their story, and you have to be careful in terms of veracity, in terms of truth, because in recent times too, a lot of promises are being made, especially in this silly season, and different parties are vying for political office. And when you drive around St. Kitts, we anticipate we'll see billboards strewn all over the country, but to date we have only seen some yellow billboards, all labeled "Keeping the Promise." Now, I have every reason to tell you tonight, my Straight Talk family, that according to the old traditional proverb, a promise is a comfort to a fool. Now, there are no greater promisers than those who have nothing to give. They have nothing to give you, so they promise you. We call them the promisers. Now, there are lots of quotations as well you can find about promises. Do your research, and I guarantee that you will find the German proverb, there's Jamaican proverbs, there's the Dutch proverbs, and Chinese and other proverbs that you will find intriguing, like this one. Promises are like babies, easy to make, but they're hard to deliver. I like that one. Promises are like babies, they are easy to make, but they are hard to deliver. And my Straight Talk family, promises are like the full moon. If they are not kept at once, they diminish day by day. And that's a German proverb. So unless a commitment is made, they are only promises. Unless a commitment is made by Straight Talk family, unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. No plans, and that's a quote from Peter F. Drucker, my straight dog family. And that's a quote from Peter F. Drucker. If a promise is made by someone who does not act from a position of integrity, then the chances are it will be broken. And the said person in this case is just making the promise in order to have his own desires met. You know, these, and will more than likely not follow through with the promise. You know, at this time, people come, they promise you land, they promise you house, they promise you money, they promise to do all sorts of things. And in cases like these, the promises would be comfort to a fool. My straight dog family, the promises would be comfort to a fool. And we have to remember, my straight dog family, that the promises, as said, would be comfort to a fool. Now, my straight dog family, as well, tonight I want to, as well, consider the Proverbs, as I said, in terms of the commitments, in terms of the promises. Now, in September 2010, world leaders converged in New York for a UN summit that adopted a document called Keeping the Promise. So that's nothing new when you see those billboards with that particular promise on the billboard, keeping the promise. And this was a reaffirmation as these leaders committed themselves to meeting the goals by 2015 that were first laid down in New York 10 years earlier. In 2000, they met to issue a declaration promising to halve the proportion of people suffering from extreme poverty and hunger by 2015. Around the world as we speak, my straight dog family, more than 780 million people live in extreme poverty on less than $1.90 per person per day, an amount which is literally impossible to live on, no matter where you are in the world. It's impossible to support a healthy livelihood in any part of the world on $1.90 per person per day. Imagine that. Now, without a sustainable source of income at a sufficient level, young children and their families do not have access to nutritious food, clean water, or health care. And the deadly effects of undernutrition cannot be underestimated. The wealth of numerous powerful nations has been acquired at the expense of poor nations, and historically, the poor have paid the price in loss of resources, both human and material, to exploitative empires. And many of the signatories to the pledge had built their nations on poverty creation rather than poverty cessation. Now, a pledge is merely a hollow, empty, meaningless piece of paper. So too, political promises are much like marriage vows. They are made at the beginning of the relationship between candidate and voter, but quickly forgotten. And that is how we must view, for example, the empty promises of Sean Richards to build a temple for the Rastas, for example. Here's what Sean said.
Our new agenda will all to offer land and assistance to build a temple for their worship and practice of their faith.
I believe I ought to play that back from the top, because it's important we hear the promise. And as I said, the promise is a comfort to a fool. But here's the promise to the Rastaman, my straight dog family.
Agenda will also include a partnership with the Rastafarian community to offer land and assistance to build a temple for their worship and practice of their faith.
Truth be told, my Straight Talk family, if I did not know Sean, I would have said that Sean was burning a chalice. But he said as well, he was not working with the Gigi. And this is what he said. Family. This is what he said.
And me don't tell the Governor General, me not interested in working with you.
Yes, that was not a promise, though. That was a fact, a statement as well. But you wonder if that is why Shauna wants to turn our beautiful federation into a republic. And he did say this as well.
The pillars of our future economic, political, and social development will include, but not be limited to, 1. The full actualization of our political aspirations to chart our own destiny under a republican system of government where a Kittian or Nevision sits as our head of state.
Republicanism is what it's called. Now imagine another promise. After 7 years in government, and more than that, since 2020, there is a 2/3 majority of members on the government benches in Parliament. But instead of trying to amend the Constitution using this 2/3 majority, Sean files a motion of no confidence. And you heard his partner in crime, Mark Brantley, resolve or dissolve. And now the Parliament is dissolved, comes other promises. Another big promise, now the party, or rather the Parliament, I should say, is now dissolved. Hear this.
For almost 40 years, we producing meaningful constitutional change. That we remain committed to the pledge of good governance and will introduce and where applicable, operationalize legislation to give effect to freedom of information, term limits, integrity in public life, electoral reform, and others.
And that's the problem, my Straight Talk family. I believe that they take our people for granted. Because, my people, it is unbelievable, I should say. Sean Richards, for the last 2 years, has totally disregarded the procurement laws of St. Kitts and Nevis. Under his watchful eyes as minister with responsibility for UDC, a contract was awarded to his friend for $227,000 to construct a guard hut. From all estimates, it's valued at $50,000. So where is the $177,000 going or gone? You understand they paid another installment just a few days ago of $30,000. You understand today that the board has gone in the wind and there's a new board appointed at UDC and at Casper, I'm told. But Sean Richards totally disregarded the Petro-Carib agreement and without following established procurement guidelines, sourced fuel from Delta. after failing to ensure that Skelec pays Delta, he instructs that Skelec sources 120 gallons of fuel oil from a fly-by-night company called Pure Energy Solutions. Pure Energy Solutions, we are told, gave Skelec a quotation of 24 cents per gallon, which skyrocketed to 68 cents upon landing at its destination here in St. Kitts. That invoice of near $9 million, we understand, is still being disputed. Skelec, remember, still owes Petrocaribe, still owes the Venezuelans a whopping US $17 million. Under Sean Richards, Skelec depleted the reserve funds in the amount of $31 million and had to run to the government for a bailout. No matter what you hear them say, no matter what they leak, disregard those figures about these corporations owing them money. Nothing but fallacy. But we all learned as well about Noah who built an ark. The Bible story, beg your pardon, of Noah who built the ark. And I believe it took some 100 years to build that ark. But in just under 2 years, an ark was built for Noah, right here in St. Kitts. And who built that ark? Skelec, upon the instructions of the minister. Skelec built an ark for Noah, which is costing Skelec $10,000 per month. And Noah contacted me via WhatsApp. And I told him to send me a copy of his agreement and let me compare it with the one I have in my possession. But lo and behold, the Urban Development Corporation is also paying $10,000 to help build the ark for Noah, who is Sean's friend from Sandy Point. Straight Talk just learned today as well that under the constitutional supervision of then Minister Sean Richards, $70 million that the new board and management he appointed at UDC has gone in the wind. We are tracking that story as well, my Straight Dog family. But in the meanwhile, we ask ourselves, how could Sean Richards promise to eliminate the problems associated with the awarding of contracts and corruption? That's a question we ask ourselves, and that's a question we ask you as well, my Straight Dog family.
In introducing meaningful constitutional change, is that we remain committed to the pledge of good governance and will introduce and, where applicable, operationalize legislation to give effect to freedom of information, term limits, integrity in public life, electoral reform, and others.
Could you imagine that, my Straight Dog family? As I said, take that with a grain of salt, because the opportunity arose after the 2020 elections when 9 members of the Team Unity group were elected to Parliament, 3 from Nevis and 6 from St. Kitts. And that gave the Team Unity government a clear 2/3 majority, which could have, and they could have gone into the Parliament, legislate the term limits. They could have done many things in terms of the constitutional reform. But they did not care about that. They cared about lining their pockets and seeking power. One wanted the CBI, and all he spoke about is fair share. And now they're coming and making all sorts of promises. But I say to you tonight, my Straight Talk family, a promise is a comfort to a fool. That's my story for tonight, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines much earlier tonight, and I promise to do that because at this time I want to hear more from the people. A promise is a comfort to a fool. Be careful. Do not take promises. Look at commitments, my Straight Talk family. The numbers are 466. What am I saying? Take that back. Take that back, my Straight Talk family. The numbers are 663-6672 and or 829 or 646-829-6672. I always like to implore you. I have a call on the line. Just bear with me for 1 second, caller, because I like to implore you to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in doing and or saying those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines. Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding.
And Patrick, hope all is well, sir.
All is peaceful, my brother. All is peaceful.
Okay. Just before anything, you guys got to get moving because a relative gave me a quick call from up north. It's not to discuss really, but I'm saying that to hear that you and Harris is not getting on. He said you too. Oh, how can he be too old? He's not much older than he look younger than the other people here. So anyhow, I think it's a rumor. I tell her it's just a cheeky, but the person it came from is somebody in your thing in number one. So you got to make sure this thing is because they're rumor. I say no, it's just probably a rumor from some cheeky liar. You know, think it's full of lies and thieves. I said, Patrick is the backbone. Why would he and her not be talking? So anyhow, that means nothing. I say it because, you know where there's Friday, there's smoke, Friday smoke. But that's nonsense. I don't think that's so. Anyhow, let's get to it. Sean is finished, right? Finished. No, there's this loudmouth cabal from Keyon. They've been screaming about money for the past couple of years, a few years. One of them, I think, he sounds like as though he is in the service and he's shell-shocked. But they've been up here from Keyon screaming. And you know why? It's all about money with these folks. Okay? Screaming about money. Bastards. Anyhow, Harris has shown more patriotism than any of these sick haters. Okay? Where were these cowards when Harris was standing up to Douglas, when Douglas was reigning in St. Kitts and doing all these bloody bad things, put his oligarchs in there to rob the local people of St. Kitts. His oligarchs, the Building Board and all these other places. Where were they? Where were they? No, the big now make that the little wolf is back. I told you he was not going anywhere. The big bad or the little bad wolf, you know what I mean? Anyway, the people of St. Kitts Patches will send him packing again. The Christians are not as stupid as he and Sean think they are. Sean is finished with, and he's a relative. What an evil fella, eh? What an evil fella that Douglas. And, Patches, it's crazy. I mean, have your oligarch robbing Kittish doing things to pay no? They're all millionaires. His grammar school elite friend. You went to grammar school when you stood with this poor man. The average man is thinking. You hear a lot of them saying one thing, though, that the people in St. Kitts going hungry. Nobody in St. Kitts going hungry. They're liars. You go by around the city castle full to the top. But anyhow, but the reality was you have to call and tell her, look, don't forget you have to vote for party. Just tell in case a rumor going around, So you got to put a thing in that. Okay? And Harris is a patriot. He stood up to Douglas. And this is the one thing we got to respect. That man stood up to Douglas. Yes, he didn't get integrity in public. But that's because of Blanky and Sean and the other people. I might call the election for you tonight, but I'm not sure. I might tell you which each thing. Okay?
Okay.
No, that's quickly Patrick. Patrick, I didn't know Mixed Up was that fella's father until you mentioned it the other night. Mixed Up is a nice guy. He was an entertainer with you guys going to school, you know, right? And you guys are a little younger than, but you guys, I know Nevis to be looking to government for entertainment money. You know, go to Bracha looking for money. These young lazy bastards entertain. What entertainment? Not the John Michael Ladder. Or do like Patrick and Bobby and these guys did. They went out and made their own money while they were going to school. But Patrick, let me tell you, this guy, and I didn't know you sing at his wedding.
Yes, I did.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I
You did. Wow. Now you got a big good history in thinkers. So, but listen, but that marriage didn't last too long. You know that, right? Harris might have the big O on that too. And why? Harris might have the big O on that, you know. I know the little kid, and I see the kid as young, and say he needs to be in a place with a father. Because the mother, the girl who was married to, beautiful girl, small girl, and beautiful, pretty girl. He can have to come for that, this new fella.
Okay.
What is he doing? What does he think he's doing to people? You can't just go with things like that and then the girl gone. Like that, poof. How you gonna get along with people and things like that? No, just one more thing I gotta say, Patty. Hopefully you guys run somebody in Sandy Point, because I'm gonna explain to you. The people in Sandy Point are independent-minded thinking people. And after they hear all this thing that Sean has done, Sean is finished with. So you guys have to run somebody in Sandy Point, okay? You gotta they're not like those daft, immoral people, in St. Paul. Sandy Point people will put you right out. So you guys have to run somebody in Sandy Point.
Okay.
Sean is like a pansy. He's a pansy for Mark Anthony. He's like Mark Anthony's pansy. He have his tongue. He think he's trying his best to run things and think. And he run them to think it's a mash of think his government. Think he's ain't got no government. You all need to straighten up a lot of this stuff when you all get back in their Patrick. But I tell them, Patrick is the backbone of things and thinking. We talking about having some. I say it's one of them cheeky lying bastards. But Sean, I think Sean is finished with.
Okay.
He's gone, done. Anyhow, Patrick, listen to me. You guys got to get moved. And I can call the election for you tonight if you got 3 more minutes.
3 more minutes. Okay.
Number one, Patrick's Liburd. I still got in a just thing now. Number one is going to be Patrick's Liburd. I'm going to tell you the truth. Number 2 is going to be Jonathan. Number 3 is going to be that girl, Byron, thing. Number 4, Kayla, yeah. And I respect that girl. You sure she gets along with her dad, man, and her dad, they look out for each other. I know the dad very well. We all go up, same street, whatever. And so we up to number 3. Number 4, Grant, like I tell you, he could be prime minister if he could have controlled himself. So John is going to have to put a leash on that boy. But this time he got out. Just for what he did. I mean, how you can try to fight with the police?
Yeah, give me the others so I'll free up the
Okay, Sandy Point. Okay, you're just going to go around it. Sandy Point.
Did you say 4 is grand?
No,
Oh, okay.
4 is PLP.
Okay.
There's 2 people you have to talk to 2 brothers.
Okay,
you
so
know their
5,
father. I think he passed.
Yeah, 5. 5, let's go 5. It's been not a long time.
5 is a shake, but I think the Sandy Point people going to kick out Sean.
Shake
not
out.
with what all
6,
the things that he ain't.
6.
Sandy Point people are not like that.
Okay, 6.
Well, number 6 is the big bad wolf. These people over there, like I tell you, the Bible
It's
says,
a bit bad bull.
Nazareth.
The big bad bull.
Yeah, the little bad wolf. But Like the Bible says.
So number seven,
And does anything-
number seven. You have to tell.
Harvest again. This is number 7 is harvest again.
And number 8.
Harvest can win by a landslide.
And number 8.
Number 8 is for PLP again.
Okay.
They're not going to put that boy back in there.
Okay, I gotta
They're
thank
not going to put that little man in there. They're going to reject him the last time.
you. Okay,
That
got you.
boy is not a little Douglas. He's a little Douglas.
Okay, I got you, my brother. I think we
So
exhausted.
this is
Thanks.
this is what it's going to be.
Okay.
And a lot of people may want to think it's nothing, but that's why. So you guys got to get moving.
Okay,
Run
okay.
a man in everything, okay?
Okay, got you.
Mark Anthony can come to sing, mash up the government that he man thing, and he
Okay.
can go. So
Okay.
anyhow, patch is good till you get moving, man.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my
Have
brother.
a good one. God bless you, man. Thank God for you.
God bless you as well, my brother. Yeah, never out of words, but that is not what we're going to use for our template tonight. We're going to try to be reasonable in terms of the time you utilize. Make your points as clear and as concise as possible. We'll go back to the lines at 8:37. The numbers again, 663-6672, and okay. Yes, caller, your line.
Yes, call you.
Are you the caller?
I did.
Yes, my brother.
I did.
How are you, the Bible man?
I'm fine. I didn't want to call in tonight, but listen here, I was reading the Bible today, right? In a hand, Psalms 112. And from the first verse to the last verse, we're talking about wealth and riches for righteous people and poor people. And you read it for yourself, Mr. Patrick. Now, in the second to last verse, it said, "Go and give to the poor, and the righteous." I talk about the righteous there. And when we down to the last verse, you know what it said? And the wicked sit, and they grieve, and they grind at the teeth, and they want to make trouble them. And Patrick, I want you to read it, because I ain't going to take up too much time. The wicked sit, how all what happened today? Mr. Harris ain't do nothing. And that's because Mr. Harris is looking after the poor people. The wicked sit and they get frustrated. And they want
Okay, we seem to have had some difficulty with that line, that telephone line. We do apologize for that. And yes, he was referring to Psalm 112. It says, "The wicked shall see it and be grieved. He shall gnash with his teeth and melt away. The desire of the wicked shall perish." It's 8:40. The lines are open. We do apologize for that call there. I don't know what happened to the Bible man. Somebody seemed to have scrambled the call. I just don't know. But, as we said, a promise is a comfort to a fool. And be careful when they come promising you. Ensure you get your commitments. And do not be fooled by straight dog family. There are some who can do. There are some who cannot do. And there are some who will do. And there are some politicians who have already done. Good night, Honorable Ian Patches Liburd. let me touch on John L. Powell, who constantly makes a fool of himself. He has allowed Mark and Sean to let him lose his job and then said he will be back on the campaign trail. What are you going to tell us now after you broke your last promise by not going to work? John L. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That goes for you and the people of the People's Action Movement and the Labour Party. You should have been smart and not let them throw away your political career. Reads that email. Caller, I want to thank you for holding your line.
Good evening, Patrice.
Good evening, my dear brother. Sounds like...
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm still radical here.
Radical culture.
Yes. I will not put down that title, the radical.
Mm-hmm.
Patrice, I want to say that what my good villager, Shefton, he has said it all tonight with his opening remarks. Now, you hear the proverb where a lizard went to a party. And when he got there, they tell him, boy, you can't go in here because your head needs fixing. And you have to get your head in proper shape. Well, crab come up boasting and say, man, lizard is okay, you're going to go in the party. Here, take my head. Crab take off his head and give it to lizard. And lizard went in with a good head from crab. Crab tried to get another head. And crab went back home because his father doesn't make head. When crab reached home, he met his father dead. And there was no head for crab to use. So crab did not go into the party. That's the reason why crab ain't having a head. Now, let me go to Mr. Sean and Mr. Grant. A couple years ago, Douglas' rule is that they cannot enter Parliament because they had dual citizenship. And they come out plain and they say that they renounce their U.S. citizenship because they love country. Well, that was nice of them to show the world that they love the country so much that they renounce their U.S. citizenship. But no, what have Sean done? He gave up his U.S. citizenship where a lot of people trying to get a visitor's visa to go to America, and not even that they could get. And he gonna take that and give it up, and to end up like how he end up right now. He let another man across the waters, his partner in crime, could never come on the airwaves and say whether he has dual citizenship or triple citizenship. Never said it. But then he encouraged him to follow him and say they're going to file a motion of no confidence against yourself. That is what you call someone's yourself. Join a government and you're going to file a motion of yourself in the government. And then Sean gave up his U.S. citizenship to say he loved the country so much, but then he ignored the country for 1 month. I give up my citizenship to ignore you. That's 1 month. He ignored it again for 2 months. He ignored it for 3 months. That's what you give up your citizenship for? To love country, and you ignore the people them who send you in there, the people of Sandy Point. Just like Shepton said. And I know that Sandy Point people are not to play with. They're very, very serious with the promise. And they're very, very independent people. They're very proud of the city, Sandy Point. When other people will accept the word country, not Sandy Point. Sandy Point telling you the town of Sandy Point. So therefore, do not play with Sandy Point. And then he now coming back saying that keeping our promise. You promise that you're going to go in there and serve the people of Sandy Point, and you break that. Yep. So now you're coming back telling them that put you back in there, put you back in there to keep promise with your bones. The Bible also says, where a man treasure is, there lies his heart. Yep. If you don't cherish me as your friend, if you do not cherish the people of Sandy Point, of your comrades, or your friends, or your villagers, well, your heart is not there.
Okay.
People are not stupid. Like once ago, People used to be fooled by the name of a political party. No longer that. People looking at the issues and how you perform in the past and how you are performing in the present. And so therefore they will make their decision there for the future.
Okay. Thank you.
I will come back, Patrick. I got more to say, but let me tell all the loyal listeners to this program, good evening and keep listening to truth. And Patrick, I'm glad that you're exposing all the wrong things, what they've done. And that is what I want to go back in there. One want to go in there to say he's the leader of the country, and the other one want to go in there to control money. People are stupid. Expose them tonight, expose them. Thank you, Patrick. I'll come back.
Thank you for your input. That's the radical culture, as he said. You go back to the lines. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller, are you there?
Yes, Patrick. Here of the man radical culture.
My brother.
Patrick.
My brother.
You know, from the point produce brilliant people.
True.
You remember Alan Somerset?
Of course.
My good friend Sean led on these men and showed up the grieving for what they're hearing about Sean. Don't talk on Japan. And radio always saying he didn't meet Robert Bradshaw. He ain't no Robert Bradshaw. A challenge Carlton. John refused to talk politics with you. One, you don't know about Bradshaw. And you're pretending to think it's public and evil, that you know the politics. You know nothing yet. If you're coming in all here to the circus, you will learn from Asagay, who was Asagay, and the legendary Cecil Roberts. You know nothing yet. You know nothing yet. Antonio refused to answer you. You know, answer you. When I heard you say, you never see Bradshaw yet. You never hear Bradshaw talk. I said, well, we never do it. We never no shots to wait on you. You don't know nothing. You're just pushing up yourself in politics. No matches. For what? We're hearing. I see it coming all the time, you know. Especially down here in the goal where they be down here. I see it coming. And let me tell you something, you know. This country that bring things like them there to an end. We have to bring it to an end. And I want to congratulate the right honorable Prime Minister, because we have to know the truth about what's going on in these ministries. I mean, we send these guys to Parliament. We give them a 5-year mandate. And look where they do talk. You look what Sean and tell Black what you are doing in the ministry with them. Now hearing these things is travesty. Boy, you got a lucky young man. You ain't have a man like Robert Bradshaw to deal with. Man, come on, it sounds so bad. I don't want them enough. Not when they stop being juicy and when they fix. There's decent people. When they fix, when they came on a commerce and industry for almost 20 years. Establish a small business association. And the well-headed of the chairman. All those years, where are you going? I forget these things. I'm not young to the politics. Okay. But let me show you something, you know, since these people are stupid, you know. Okay. Well, stupid no more. And when it comes to the one in number 2, well, boy, I can't take in these things no more. Okay. We see Marcelo do a thing down there. In poor people, when you attack us. And you come, you get a golden opportunity and did that to us, Janelle. But no, they're biting them kind of things. I wish young people and you young people are stupid no more. And I want you young people to let the untouching finish the job in your tongue. We got to eradicate poverty and bring this a living like where we see up where they go on. We see the tourist to themselves, you know. Okay.
Woe be unto my great party. And the good parties I will be back. Here, don't be mad radical culture. We will set this thing right. Have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear brother. Always so passionate. Never out of words. Nobody's out of words tonight. My Straight Talk family. Caller, you're live. Good night, sir.
Put me on the Patches. That's Patches?
You're live.
Okay, Patches, this is the Major.
Turn your radio or your equipment down, Major. I want the whole world to hear you.
Okay, you ready?
Turn your radio down.
Yeah, it's down.
So let the whole world hear. We stand and salute you, Major.
Yeah. Let me, Patches,
So-
I want to ask you a little question, yeah? You listening, mate?
I'm listening. Always listen to the Major.
Okay. Let me see if this will work. My question is, can you change another person? If you can answer no, it's quite hard.
Change is unavoidable. I don't know about changing persons, but can you? Can you?
Well, I will try, and I will tell you how I will try. What I will do, when there is a few real problems in a relationship that seeks to have possibility, so we can ever feel your change. Someone. I can feel change in someone.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it is not completely hopeless, but there are some important points must consider first.
Are you feeling change in the country now?
What am I saying? What are you saying?
Are you feeling that change in the country?
Well, from the behavior of the politicians, you and I live here and we don't accustomed to that. So therefore we'll try our best because, as I said to you, that there are possibilities that we can feel some change with someone. And actually, as I say, it is not completely hopeless, but there are some important things must consider first. What do you think?
Well, food for thought, Major.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for your input.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your
Okay.
input.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. That's Major Jones making his point there.
It is not completely hopeless, but there are some important points must consider first. You with me?
I'm with you all the way, my brother.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, it's now 6 minutes before 9 o'clock. The lines are open. 663-6672. I go straight back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Caller, turn your radio down, your equipment down. Are you there? Yes, caller, you're live. Hello,
Hey,
caller.
Patches,
Yes, sir.
I want to come back quick. I have something to say, and I don't want to lose it. Patches, those people at the Port Authority, the security, who deal all these years, a travesty happened up there, and the right honorable Prime Minister has to correct it. Appealing to Wendy to please correct it. Please to give these people the $2,500 across the board. It has double standard with work. So this country, during the hard 2 years of the pandemic, and just fire people and give them $2,600 and give these people. No. This isn't it. Mr. Prime Minister, this is John Young speaking here. A former worker at the Port Authority worked for years at the Port Authority. Was victimized by a madman and vagabond and good for nothing.
Okay.
Please to correct that thing up in the port.
Okay.
Give everybody who I want to the training school. Over there.
Okay.
Give everybody the $2,500
Okay, man.
Mr. P, I hope you're listening me loud and clear.
Got you, jam down. Got you.
Somebody, what the country? Still they used to tell me, in government, you do the right thing. Otherwise, you will mail, you will have to do it. Look at this vagabond behavior with the chairman and the minister. How could you change petitions like that? I mean, these people walk the hard out when the Prime Minister called them out during the rough time of the pandemic. They're here. And you must hire people in the $1,800. They're getting $1,800, but you bring your people them again. Come on!
Okay.
This ain't concealer, young man. This is not carefree. This is a government.
Okay, my brother.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear brother. I'm always so passionate and very clear on his points. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
My bunny lies over the ocean.
My bonnie lies over the ocean. How is Montserrat tonight?
Quiet and beautiful. But you have to shout out some of your fans in a Montserrat, man. Listen.
Yes,
You got some fans up there that
I always forget.
Thursday, they spoke. Some they say the Swedish on radio. That's not them opinion, right?
The what?
Somebody said that this show, the Swedish show on radio.
I'm humbled, my brother.
Yeah.
Montserrat, good night. All my fans in Montserrat, good night. I haven't been to Montserrat for a long time. That's long overdue, though.
Yeah. And one of them, yeah. So how we think about the different comments on other people? He say that boy the Oscar fan fella there, me not like it all. Me not like it all. They don't want nobody trouble you, you know. Anyway, listen here.
Thank you, Montserrat.
Listen here. Me got that on Antigua. Me not promise you nothing on song. The moment you promise is a daddy, a promise is a comfort to a fool. So me not promise you. If me got anything for you, me just give you. If me got anything on my mind, me tell you. You get me?
True.
She not a promise. But watch me. So Noah build one ark. And he saved his family and some animals and so, right? Right. So now history now makes somebody now build one ark for Noah.
Yes, Sean built an ark for Noah. That's what the right in St. Kitts. We made history.
And run that.
Sean built an ark for Noah and Skelec and UDC pay to build the ark.
But listen, me not think it's so smart. Why should us do? You say you got the war in Ukraine and so right now, remember the Ukraine may supply wheat and you know that kind of stuff there. So why you don't me put 1 mil on the ark or even 2 mil and even call them you understand?
You get into smart. You get into smart. He should put 2 mils on the ark. Right?
and instead of Noah ark, you catch me?
So he had Noah ark with 2 mils. I like that.
Yeah, I put 2 mil and right now you could have produced, eh?
I think you should be in the seat. I think I should allow you to host this show from now on, right? So the build an ark for Noah, and he should put 2 mils on it.
Yeah, but
wait
2 mils. Right?
Wait 2 mils. You can put 1 mils.
Well,
okay, let's take
Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark. Noah with leave 1 mil, yeah.
No. Let's stick with 2 mils. Let's stick with the mils. I like the mils. So we can stick with 2 of them. I like the mils.
Right. At the least, I could have produced something.
Yes, yes.
You can go and say.
Got you.
Okay then. I'll be touch base.
What's drag you too smart, man?
Okay, good.
Well, I'm gonna get another WhatsApp from the ark that was built for Noah. And my friend in Montserrat said the ark that was built, we should put 2 mills on it. Caller, you're live.
Good night, Patches. Good night.
My dear brother Politics, how are you? Good night.
Yeah, Patches, I'm good. Patches, but I must thank God for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, a country where I've been to, and a country where I'm born into and doing well for myself and try to help others. Now, Patches, I just want to thank God for life. Because the reason why I always thanking God, because God has directed me and shown me the way about doing the right thing, and I always try to do the right thing. No one is perfect. And I know that nobody know that no one is perfect. Only one perfect man they got. And that is God, the Creator, who created heaven and earth. That is, I just want the people in constituency number 3. I want to remind them that Akila elected 2020. Jane elected 2015. 2015 was some kind of run and he lose. So people think that Akila gave from 2015 and she ain't do nothing from the time she did from 2015. They just want to let them know. Because they say she ain't doing nothing. And when Akila got elected, she got elected in the heat of the pandemic.
Sure.
And she was the Minister of Health.
Sure.
And she got to work with the CMO, work with these people, the hospital, the nurses, the doctors, and try to keep the country safe with the COVID situation. So people are stop, look and listen. I just try to understand that the young lady elected 2020. And the lady was doing, even before she got into parliament, when she was a senator, she was doing, because some project that were done in boys, the Villa Boys, State, and Garbage, and she instructed them, put in infrastructure down here. She put in some of with the lampposts and everything, because the project was, the project to buy the farmer government, but they put in the infrastructure. And she do all of that. So we are going to give her a chance, man. Give the lady a chance. Just don't because, people who she helped, want to turn a blind eye against what she do. I just calling on the people of this constituency and calling on the people of this federation. I've seen it means let we give PLP a chance. The leadership matters. A leader the country want. The country want the political greed and good talking and sweet talk and all those things. These cannot put the country anywhere. Put the country forward. Empty promises. But you have a wonderful night. May God bless the Federation of St. Kitts, and God bless you.
God bless you as well, my dear brother Politics. And you really summed it up very well, because Akila, unfortunately, got elected during elections. Call you live.
Yeah, good evening, Honorable Patrick Liburd.
How's the People's King? Good evening. You have your radio.
Now,
You have
what
your
I want,
radio. You have
yes.
your radio. You have your radio.
Yeah, wait.
Down.
Yeah. What I want to know, right? This is from a good friend over in Nevis, Mark Brantley. Right? I want to know if, like how they're dreaming that there will be in the next government in St. Kitts, and Sean will be the next Prime Minister, and he will be the next Finance Minister in Nevis. I wonder if he can trust Sean. He think he could shove around Sean to give in to him. You understand me? Because I listened to him last night, and all I hear him talking is dividing St. Kitts from Nevis. We're talking nothing that make no sense at all. Money. And dividing that took all the money down at St. Kitts
and none up here in Nevis, a poor little Nevis boy, and that's all them kind of thing. You understand me? The poor little Nevis boy could be, the $20,000 pair of boots and no watch and all them kind of thing, and then he can say he buy you watch and them. But we don't video when he traveling. You understand me? So, I think one thing again there with Mr. Sean, I think he made some real blunder, especially at UDC. Now, Patrick, you was in charge of UDC before, and UDC was striving. You bring a woman up there, put her in charge. The woman in the shares from Shelbo.
Oops, please, man, please.
Right?
Please.
And,
Let's be
okay.
gentle, let's be gentle.
Yeah, and he put her there. She raised up all the fees for the people them who got the yacht and the boat and thing in there. All of them move out. The parking lot and them, what aim belongs to them, she take them and renting out to people. You got to pay. A man had to fence on the property around there day before yesterday, because the man friend went and parked, and she said, no, he got to pay. The man said, the place is mine. The man bring in a truck with fence and all kind of thing and fence on the place. You understand me? And the whole trouble about it. The board over there, yes, it's changed. But I hope they don't get the preference to go to the new deal, the building, They got to go at 1840 and see how hard life was. Not to no deal. You understand me? Package did a set of wicked people. The woman come out here and raise my rent from $600 to $1,300 and done nothing for me over there. You understand me? And threatening me with all kind of letters and all kind of things to lawyers and all kind of things because I talk. And come telling me over there it belongs to government. When the thing read out today for over there, it's government owned. So I wonder now if I could get them to court to get back all the money. The Prime Minister said 6 months free, and I'm the honest one over there paying. We're paying for the 6 months. Them things can't be fair. You just come out there and done nothing there and raise up my rent from $600 to $1,300, $1,320 at 30, something like that. And them just think these things is right. And then you're taking up government money, building a little hut, no bathroom and nothing for $225,000. And them things can't be right. I hope they don't start clearing out the jail space over at 1840. But if I get back in, I get back in. But I got some more to come back with.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. This message reads, Good night, Honorable Patches Liburd. Let me touch on I think I read that before. Yes, I read that. Forgive me, my straight dog family. Take this other message. As a political observer here on Nevis, I just cannot overlook this on Tula. Tula was severely criticized indirectly for referring to Premier Mark Brantley as a kunumunu by the management of a radio station that has the highest principled standards in broadcasting, and that is highly commendable. However, when the Premier was on his On the Mark show on the same radio station in a violent, belligerent, antagonistic, combative, and defiant voice, referred to Ambassador Patches Liburd as a clown and continued his abusive language with the words not fit for me to utter, neither for the earwaves. There was no criticism, denunciation, or condemnation from management. I wonder who they think they're fooling, reads this email. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Liburd, good night.
Good night, sir. You have a radio on?
How are you, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself? You have your radio equipment on?
Yeah, I don't lock it off.
Thank you. I want the whole world to hear.
Yeah, you have something to say. You know me and I know you.
You know me, I know you. That is correct.
And you know me at the port when you was a manager.
That's correct. And
the general manager.
Yes, that's correct. Good security.
And we had our little differences and we put that aside. be moving on.
That is true. That is so true. A promise is...
And I came, I came here to work under Mr. Jason Celtic as the first manager when it was under Mr. McAllen. And the chief of security was Mr. Eddie Charles. And we went into training at the training school. But today, they have people down working down there, don't have no training, and figure that they could go down there and make people who don't have 4 bars, which is called supervisors, disrespecting them. People like they get from up the village and they get from okay. And last month was a year since the same lady from Sandy Point sent me home on retirement just because I speak out for principle. God, I said, why is it that you bring the labor department into the meeting and nobody from the union who's there to represent the poor working class people? Oh, I was to bring them in, I forget. I said, you know, it was a plan, you bring them in, that whatever said inside here, they could go with it, and if anything happens, they already know what's going on. But I tell them, I'm a member of the union, I'm a union representative. So I pay my dues, and I'm disappointed. Somebody from the union, and most of the workers said, you was right. It was a plan to get rid of me. And to bring a lady from Sunny Point who was in the police force in charge of the security. She's in charge of the security. And then the Prime Minister Calvin Esdela, what it is, my brother, and Mr. Trevor Freights, and putting the friends. But the law doesn't sleep. How could a 2x4 or 4x4 cost that type of money? Find out again, I want the Prime Minister to find out what about the money up at CPL? What about the money that the general manager was to driving around? She have a car, and they had money to buy a car for her, but she could move around. It was a lot of corruption going on down there. And the first time I ever know, I'm hearing that somebody have 5 bars. We're in Gladwell, you have a place, have to have 5 bars. And they destroy the workers them down there, because some of them down 12 to 14 years, and they didn't get an increase for the time to be down there working. People who just coming down there getting increase. You see, the reason why I stand for principle, I stood up what is I think is best for me and the others.
Okay.
I don't let people just come and walk on me. Just so. I listen to you, and when I see that you're going down my road, I take a different route too.
Okay.
Mr. Rock should not be in that state of where he is today. In fact, that same lady.
Okay.
So Mr. Celtic and Mr. Philip walk along with Mr. Rock.
Okay.
Walk along with Mr. Rock. And furthermore, the Prime Minister have to let her go. If the let go the chairman of the board, let her go too and investigate and find out how much the building costs and let the people them know where is that money gone to. And let Mr. Sean Richards, who was the deputy chairman, give an account of all that money being used from the UDC.
Okay, got you, my
because
brother.
I'm ashamed and disgraced to be a worker working down there for 17 years, I sent home without. Anyhow, we have to talk one-on-one.
Okay, my brother.
We have to talk one-on-one because I'm not going to let it down.
Okay.
If the boy could talk about the TDC self-respect to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister has nothing to do with the self-respect, you and I will have to talk about what they did to me down at Fort Zante.
Okay, look forward
that was my bedrock.
I
That was my bedrock. I love Gambia. People love me. But what do they let people go to the head?
Okay.
Mr. Rock should never be in this. Mr. Rock should be one down here and a star one. Getting free preference.
Okay. Got you, my brother. Got you loud and clear.
But I want everybody to understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm fed up of what's going on down at Urban Development Corporation. I'm sure Mr. Matadan was grieving in his grave if he ain't dead as yet.
Okay.
And I spoke to somebody today, and I told him that they're supposed to get the 10% across the board from January to this month.
Okay.
They have to get it. And UDC is on the government control it.
Yes.
After Mr. Matadan give in, government had to pick up the slack.
Okay. Got you loud and clear, my brother.
The president have to do something about those workers who don't get 17 and 18 years.
Okay.
Have a good night, Mr. Liburd.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. Thanks for your intervention. And I want to thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen and Zing. God bless the evening, my beloved brother. How are you, the family?
Oh, we are peaceful, my brother. You and your family haven't heard this voice for some time. Are you okay?
Well, yes, man, yes, okay, but brother, with all what's going on, man, the family good, brother, with all what's going on, but it just hurt my heart, beloved. It ain't just deliberate, brother.
Okay.
It's deliberate,
okay,
beloved. But, brother, you know you will always be my brother, and I will always stand in your thick or thin.
Likewise.
Even I disagree with you sometimes, brother, that's how it is. I know you're going to disagree with me, but, brother, we're all going down, brother.
Each one teach one, don't worry.
Yes, you know, and it's all sides, all three sides, beloved.
That is correct.
CCM, PLP, PAM, brother, it just hurt my heart. But let's not, you know, what done, brother. What done, we just got to just move on from there and just build. And so, next administration, I mean, personally, I'm not a member of PLP. Mm-hmm. But I'm a supporter of Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris has his mistakes like anyone else. I love Brother Mark, I love Brother Sean, but Brother Sean, man, you have made some great mistakes. If you could only wait until 2025, brother, everything go all right, you'll probably end up being the Prime Minister.
He lost it.
But, you know, what done, brother? What done? We got to move on. We got to move on. And when the next election is called, whether it's in August, July, next month, brother,
what's your prediction?
Hope to our people.
What's your predictions?
My prediction is, brother, I'm going to say this. I don't think, right, that no one party going to win a majority. It's going to have to be a coalition again. But I will like to see
coalition amongst which parties? I'm sorry.
PLP and NRP, beloved.
Oh, interesting.
Run things, and that's God, what I have seen from afar, listening and things. But to me, right, and the numbers are there. The fastest growing political party, I don't like to say party, movement in St. Kitts Nevis right now is the PLP, and that is undisputable, brother. That is undisputable. But what got me a little thing, I don't know if PLP could take all 8 in St. Kitts. That is a little thing. I think you're going to need a little help out of Nevis to assure that, brother. But I think PLP will win the majority seat in St. Kitts Nevis, but they're not going to win all 8. That's my prediction. Okay. I want to see Dr. Harris continue, man. Continue. Okay. Brother. You know, so, brother, call upon my people, my sisters and brothers. Do the right thing. We got until August. soul to soul, in the best interest of yourself, your children, your grandchildren, and great-grandchildren yet unborn. Don't matter what your parents, grandparents vote for. This is your time, and you got to do the right thing right now and put the best political movement in St. Kitts and put the best man right now, best person to run things in St. Kitts, continue to run things in St. Kitts as the Prime Minister is Dr. House. Brother,
yes.
Keep up the great works. Pan-Africanism our perish. One love, my beloved brother.
One love, my brother, as well. Good to hear you after such a long time. I was extremely pleased with the leader of the NRP this afternoon read this email on radio, giving her perspective on the way forward with the NRP. I was overwhelmed with her articulation, her calm temperament, and the message she delivered. She has demonstrated, beg your pardon, a novel beginning for the NRP in the politics of Nevis, which is a good thing. This is the type of leadership Nevis needs, unlike the incumbent who is arrogant, disrespectful, boasting, and show self. The country needs people with qualities of this young lady in leadership position, especially in Nevis. Reads that email. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller? $33 or $36? Well, I lost that. Yeah. Or 38. Sorry. 68. 32, I think. Let me get that right. Forgive me. For the 6. Okay. Well, there's a revenue. Patrice. Nisbet. Okay, got me. Well, yes, money. Okay. Have a good night as well, my dear brother. That's it's now 26 past the 9 o'clock hour, Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Okay, let's take this other caller. Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Hello.
yes, Mr. Bibleman. What's wrong with your phone tonight?
Well, hi. Mr. Patrick, I want to tell you something, right? That God created this whole universe. And listen here. God is a just God. And everybody believes to himself that they believe to himself that they could say what they want and do what they want. No. We are in the last and closing day, Mr. Patrick. And things are happening. The Bible says God set up and God bring down. Listen here. From 2015, there was a divine intervention. God have his hand on this country. And listen here, God put up Mr. Harris to be the Prime Minister. Just as Saul, David was the king. And I'm saying in 2022, God still have his hand on Mr. Harris. And there are people right now, Mr. I listened to some people this morning. And brother, they are frustrated to the max. But listen, I am going to say something tonight. Nobody will stop Mr. Harris to winning. I believe that in all my heart, Mr. Harris is going to be the next Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis. Because listen here, I read the Bible today in Psalm 41. And Psalm 41, blessed is the man that considereth the poor. In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him. That is, when God think on the poor people, and God, you know what happening now? I can tell you. When God sent Moses to take out the children of Israel, Pharaoh behind them. And the three enemies were right now in Jehoshaphat's time. Jehoshaphat went before the Lord. And the word come unto Jehoshaphat, be not afraid by this great multitude. The battle is not yours. Let me tell you something, you know. I hear Mr. Harris talk, and Mr. Harris say when things come to bad, he gone before he got, you know. My brother, I'm going to tell you something. If you don't believe that, I'll tell you, God does answer Mr. Harris, you know. So, who are believe to themselves that they are going in the Red Sea And the children of Israel was going wrong.
Okay.
So understand? So Mr. Patrick, you take care. I believe it all in your heart. Because I was talking to somebody in number one. And he will never tell you, who you going to vote for? Hear them, how is again? Mine is number one enough. Patrick, so you're here. And I'll tell you no more. Go have your phone. I can't have your phone, Patrick.
Have a good night, my dear brother. Thanks. Thanks. SKNLP keeps saying that they will form the next administration. However, they have to win 6 seats to do so, which is somewhat a tough feat. So to do so, they have to join with the next party. Is it PAM, CCM, and SKNLP working behind closed doors with the intent to form the government, reads that email. It's now 28 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. This other email reads, I have been telling my Facebook friends about my experiences with the PAM and their empty promises that they have been making to us from their insertion way back in 1975. And it is the same promises they are coming with now in 2022. Yes, PAM promises are definitely a comfort to a fool, reads that email. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Yes, caller.
Hey, Patrick, good night.
Good night, my warrior from the east. How are you?
I'm good. I just here listening. So I just want to say something. You know, when election coming and Nevis going to what they're going to, you know, when the PA have nothing to offer them, he had nothing to tell them what he do, he got to come with something. So why look what he do every time election, he look, when you got a baby and the baby a cry, he push a pacifier in the mouth to quiet them down. And then the two dribbling behind it, the two dribbling baby. The two Alexis and the next one. That's what they're doing to the Nevis people them in Nevis. He is who had the whole federation mash up, so. He is who mash up Sam and mash up the whole federation. Because I hear him say stop it and go when Nevis, I will see him, I will like to get it with a prime minister. I wonder if somebody is him. He said, right over Nevis. You hear? So it's who got him, so. He just wild and he cannot wait. When he can't get, he gonna mash up everything. And that's how he behave himself. He just like a pacifier, pushing himself in the people them in Nevis mouth to keep them calm. He ain't got nothing to tell them. And it's the same thing the lady said. Election coming and he ain't got nothing to offer them. He ain't got nothing to tell them. He's a sharp boy, that's what he be. And then he to just put him aside and then he react and put the lady in charge. So the lady speaks very well about Nevis. The CCM NRP were getting less, they had less, but they were doing better. And that's all I have to say. And good night, Patrick. That's the pacifier premier. He keeps going on to go Nevis, quite boy, PFC for Nevis. PFC, remember you watch for $10,000 give to help the children in the preschool who have to pay for their lunch. That's not PFC. I was saying to paying. Why Nevis have to be paying? That can't be clear here. Take 1 year salary and give them and then clear it off. We will like to get a federal government too. And then that's clear here. So I think it's one clear here too. Nobody's supposed to run into the local government and still the federal. And if that's in the constitution, then I have to move it. That's not clear here. That's it.
Got
you.
Good night. Good night, my dear.
That's the pacifier premier. That's what you name. I always want them something to talk. And start a war between St. Kitts and Nevis. Ain't a soul had it over here. He need to give people a break. Good night.
Night, my dear. Yes, I mean, it's always difficult for one to be at two places at the same time. Yes, it's a lot of us that started with the PAM and never saw that same promise that they are still making us up to this day. the People's Action Movement really think that the people of St. Kitts are fools. Reads that email. My Straight Dog family. It's now 24 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. We go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Thank you. Thank you again. Let me get in here. I going back to America. Once Ku Klux Klan, it doesn't matter what hat you wear, doesn't matter how long ago you're here, you are always a Ku Klux Klan. Once a secessionist who wants to divide Nevis and St. Kitts, it doesn't matter what clothes you wear, how much sharp talk you could talk, you're always a secessionist. And my good friend over there, his intention is to separate Nevis from St. Kitts. But enough of that, it can't happen. Because they tried it 98 and it ain't worked, and it can't happen again. People more sensible and smarter, and people can see what's going on. All of a sudden, all kind of thing in Nevis going to start. And they were there, abandoned, and all he concerned about is to cut patches on government radio station and bring you this or that to home. And they're doing the same thing. That is, I am so glad that you expose what has happened to Skelec with the money. That is the reason why they're going around wild now, cutting off Tom, Dick, and Harry, who are $3, who are $10, and cutting off the light, the wire. Because they're trying to accumulate a certain amount of money to go and say and pay up the debt. But it is too late. Because the bag bust and the secret come out. Now that tower down there, what the building down, what the building down the Port Zante, you know what that's for? Some years ago we had, not years ago, just last year, people had a problem with shark-infested waters all around the Caribbean. And so that tower is to look out to tell people where shark is coming. This week here, the draft man, the most corrupt civil citizen of the government, he corrupt so much that he accusing the Prime Minister from the time 2015 election. The draft man been criticizing the government and the Prime Minister about good governance. And is this same Prime Minister find out what he was doing when he was a civil servant? He had 2 jobs simultaneously, which he admitted in your program, and the two jobs are 1.5 miles apart from each other. One up the industrial site and one in the Clarence Fitzgerald College. And he had a job in the college and one up the industrial site, and he abandoned the college, work for the one up the industrial site, but he was collecting the college money. So he owed the treasury money, the draft man, and he come on talking about the pier down there is an ill-fated pier. The ships cannot come in there. But what he don't know about the seawater, he must hush. The seawater rises and it goes down daily. And when the tide is high, big ships can come in. When the tide is low, big ships cannot come in. Certain size of ship, especially if they have a V hull, is only a badge can go in shallow waters. So when he come talking about they should have known that the problem with the bottom of the sea was there, he don't know nothing. Hush him out. Let him hush up and shut up. And I'm going because time short. Good night, Mr. Bractus. Good night, Mr. Michael Powell. Good night, Dr. Elvis and Ras Bork of Monkey Hill. Good night, Jam Dong and all the warriors them. Patches, expose what they have done. Expose them. They can't come in here. Dr. Harris, he can sink them in the bottom of the ocean because it's Harris again. Thank you, Patches.
Thank you very much, my Straight Dog family. It's 19 before the 10 o'clock hour. There are lots of quotations you can find about promises. We spoke about promises tonight. And you've seen that billboard around the country about keeping the promise. And, promises are like babies. They're easy to make, but they're hard to deliver. That's a quotation from an unknown author. It was this German proverb that caught my eyes as well. Promises are like the full moon. If they are not kept at once, they diminish day by day. So unless a commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. So promises are really a comfort to a fool. If a promise is made by someone who does not act from a position of integrity, then the chances are they will break the promise, and the said person, in this case, is just making the promise in order to have his or her own desires met, and will more than likely not follow through with the promise. So, in this case, the promise would be comfort to a fool. And we got that quotation from the UN summit in 2010 that adopted a document called Keeping the Promise. So it's not something original. But my Straight Talk family, if we look at, for example, we view, for example, the empty promise of Sean Richards, and he tries to fool the Rasta. And here's what he said to the Rasta man about promises. Do you believe this, my Straight Talk family?
Community to offer land and assistance to build a temple for their worship and practice of their faith.
Yes, he wants to build a temple for the Rastaman to practice their faith. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller? Yes, caller?
You are all Rastafari since the days of federal maple federal farm. You remember June 11 was one of the biggest Rasta in the early years? Afwa? You remember them dance patches? Well, let me tell you a little, Sean. Rasta been fooling this country for trillions of years, decades. And where Momo? And you got to understand what he's saying. Years ago, I was to come tell us that. It was 7 years ago when you went into Parliament. That should have been on your agenda. As the leader of the People's Action Movement. Or you stop walking us. We ain't no Mac, walking, wipe off, become General Field, so. General Field, so. We ain't playing, This is serious time. We have found a leader, and he ain't going nowhere. That young man, according to my friend Cheston, God sent him at the right time. Rock side, culture side, he got a old man named President on the bay. God sent Timothy Alfonso Harris at the right time. This country need a leader. And the story is going to work on them, because we were learned from Cecil Roberts and Cuba Asagaya, Ban Petition, English defense. When sometime at night when you hear Asagaya, and you when God blesses his soul, Bowsen, don't be so us, a labor, a permanent and a labor. And when the man start to talk, especially Bowsen told me years ago, that Douglas can mash up labor, and it's true. I mean, these guys is with us, but Bowsen never had the courage and the strength like man like me, and culture, and politics, and others, to push them aside and give these parties some breath. I want to congratulate the lady for NRP. She spoke well. And I challenge to come to Bastille more. Come to Bastille more. I call in Sugar City to engage you. Engage you with Sandio Atherton. And let us have a chit chat. Michael Paul, engage your lady from Nevis. And join Sandia. Sandia Hackathon. And we red mine. Somebody who love think it's Nevis. I'm going to take it. I'm going to live it, you know. But Nevis dear to her heart. Come down, Sandia. You know, damn don't love you. That is have a good night. We gonna stand up for this country.
Have a good night, my dear brother. It's now 40 minutes, beg your pardon, before the 10 o'clock hour. In the event you've just joined us, we were actually looking at the promises, and we have all agreed that a promise is a comfort to a fool. Because my straight dog family, it is unbelievable, really unbelievable. As Sean Richards, for the last 2 years, has totally disregarded the procurement laws of St. Kitts. There is in fact a piece of procurement legislation which stipulates how you buy things, you enter into contracts as it relates to the government. That's the people's money. And under his watchful eyes, we've heard that a contract was awarded to his friend, for $227,000 and some cents, I don't know where the cents came from, to construct a guard hut. And from all estimates, that guard hut was just, in terms of the work to be put in, was valued at $50,000. So we're the 175 or 170, am I getting that right? $177,000 is gone. And just to, I think I said, we questioned on the size of Nevis. It's 36 square miles. It just came back to mind. Now, Sean Richards totally disregarded as well the Petro-Carib agreement, which we entered into since 2010. So it's about 15 years now. Now, the Petro-Carib agreement is not just an agreement in the trade of oil. It has a social component as well. That's where we got the $16 million as a grant from the Venezuelan government to settle the severance payment. That's where we got the funding for this Fresh Start program as well. And I can go on and on. Now, and with total disregard for the government of Venezuela, he told them go to hell. And without following established procurement guidelines, he went and he sourced fuel, Skellig, directed Skellig to source fuel from Delta. And after failing to ensure that Skellig paid Delta, he then instructed Skellig to source 120,000 gallons of fuel from a fly-by-night company called Pure Energy Solutions. Pure Energy Solutions. Pure Energy Solutions, we are told, gave Skellig a quotation of 24 cents per gallon for fuel oil. It was imported, I think, from Stacia, I am told. I stand to be corrected. And upon arrival at St. Kitts, the fuel cost skyrocketed to 68 cents, and that's still being disputed, it is my understanding. Skellig still owes Petro-Carib $17 million US, won't pay. And under Sean Richards, it depleted the reserve funds in the amount of some $31 million. Imagine lighting. Skellig paid for lighting on the Sandy Point field. 2 columns of lights costing $1 million. And it needs repeating because at the Kearn field, is it the St. Mary's Kearn field there, 6 columns of light cost $1.6 million. 6. Just $1.6 million. And at Sandy Point, 2 columns cost $1 million. This is what's going on in or under that particular minister. We all learned about, or former minister I should say, we all learned about Noah, who built an ark. If you know our Bible stories, Noah built an ark. But in St. Kitts, an ark was built for Noah. And my friend from Montserrat said, hail up all the fans in Montserrat. Hope you're having a wonderful night. My friend from Montserrat said Noah had 2 mills. So Skellig is built an ark for Noah with 2 mills, which is costing Skellig $10,000 per month. Lo and behold, UDC, the Urban Development Corporation, also paid $10,000 to help to build the ark for Noah. That ark, as according to my friend in Montserrat, with 2 mills. Who is Sean's friend from Sandy Point? I just learned today as well that under constitutional supervision of the then Minister Sean Richards, $17 million that the new board and management he appointed had just gone in the wind. In the wind, my straight dog family. We understand that the general manager at UNC had a credit card with a $48,000 limit. Imagine, in the government, a financial secretary just has a credit card limit, I think it's just about $9,000 or $10,000. The chairman of the board had a credit card limit of $20,000. What's going on at UDC? We ask, and that has to be investigated. How could Sean promise to eliminate problems associated with the awarding of contracts and corruption when he himself, his actions are being questioned? My straight dog family.
Introducing meaningful constitutional change is that we remain committed to the pledge of good governance and will introduce and where applicable operationalize legislation to give effect to freedom of information, term limits, integrity in public life, electoral reform, and others.
And that can't be reality, my straight dog family. That can't be honest. Because you see, back then, the government had beyond the 2/3 majority required for that constitutional reform. And just in the event, again, the numbers are 663. Let's get it, 663-6672. The local number, 663-6672. The overseas number is 646-829-6672. I'll take a few more calls before we wrap tonight's programming. And as we said, and we all agree, that a promise is a comfort to a fool. So in this season, we have to be careful, we have to be wary, we have to be cautious. When they come and promising you these things, tell them that a promise is a comfort to a fool. Just imagine that Sean and Mark placed Dr. Harris as Prime Minister because of his experience in government. Then after they think they learned enough, tried to overthrow him with some petty excuses when it came from their own mouths that it was the best relationship St. Kitts and Nevis ever had in its history. Its greed got them going, and we would be foolish to let them get their hands on the CBI money, reads this email. This other email reads, we still remember when Sean promised the Rastas that they would be given lands to cultivate hemp in St. Kitts Nevis. And up to now, that has not materialized. It was just another empty promise. And promises, as we say, are made for fools. And that's coming from that emailer. at 4 before the 10 o'clock hour. As we wind down, I'll take a few more calls. My straight talk family 663-6672. Again, that's the local number. For those who are having difficulty with it, let's go back to the lines. Call you live.
But the constitution got to change. Nevis need their own government. It can be in Nevis government and in the federal government. Because that is to pay for one man. And when Christmas come and double salary pay, who in Nevis, Island administration and still federal, they're going to get 4 checks for December that they feel. And some of them check they could have given around to poor people. So let us talk about that. Okay. Is that fair here?
Okay.
Thank you, Patrick. Good night.
Good night, my dear brother. Thank you for your input as well. It's now 3 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. I'll take a few more calls as we wind down tonight's programming. Again, we looked at the promises. Promises kept. That's what they say. They keep their promises. But their promises are hollow. And as we said, a promise is a comfort to a fool. Caller, you're live.
Greetings.
Greetings, my brother.
How are you doing, Ambassador?
I am peaceful. Your radio is on? You have a radio on?
I lay down now.
Yeah,
the TV, they have on. Sorry about that.
Please.
Now, how you going? Good. Greetings to your listeners via radio and internet.
Peaceful, my brother. Peaceful, my brother. Yours?
Give thanks for life. We give thanks, we are setting up for African Liberation Solidarity Rally, which yesterday was the African Liberation Day, marked the 59th anniversary of the signing of the Charter of the Organization of African Unity, and now it is now called AU as African Union. Now, basically, I just hear make some statement in a clip there with the former Deputy Prime Minister. I don't really want to make strong emphasis on it, but I would just like to ask, when you say he will build a temple for the Rastaman, he has to be verifying what he means in the Rastaman because different factions of Rastafari groups in both Tingis and Nevis. So that's one I would like to say he got wrong. Because the Bobo, the Bingi, and the Tuali, they have different ways of how they worship. So that one temple can be able to bring the farmer what he's saying, because up to now he didn't have a discussion with the Rastaman, and maybe he had who he portrayed as being Rastas. I just making that claim like that. I'm not saying he didn't talk, but he didn't talk to who we know when it comes to praising the Almighty Haile Selassie the First.
When you say a temple, how do you interpret that?
We know how we pursue ourselves in our worship, because we see it as in our worship we have our Nayabingi tabernacle to be as between 12 posts round like a semicircle with the umbrella, and in the middle within the 13 posts is representing the power of the Almighty. The thing, as I said, the 12 tribes of Israel, and then the 13 represent the divine creator. And he have no indication from the Nayabingi of that, so I don't see have no indication from the Baba Shanti and the Tawali, who I know either have brethren in them same group as Rastafari.
So you think it's an empty promise, though, or just a political stunt?
It's a lot of political gimmicks right now. I know, and I think it's a new issue. So all I'm saying, educate the people so the people could be fully aware of what is the promise, the aspect and the promises, because we don't look for the promises. The promises are comfort to a fool there. And me, as I sure to born promises. That's really committed to the people, in and out, at when we want and how we want. I'm not just talking from a political aspect. I'm talking from our all formality within African people. Because this is the time now we unite as one. Give thanks.
Yes, give thanks, my dear brother Ras Aya as well. Haven't heard you for some time. Always good to hear you, my dear brother. As we wind down tonight's program in my Straight Talk family, and if you join me late, we actually looked at the promises, and we all have agreed that a promise is a comfort to a fool. And as you heard the Rasta in terms of the provision of land to build a temple for the Rasta man. Which Rasta? The question was asked. And as we went on as well, you heard about the Constitution and trying to build or trying to amend the procurement legislation so we could tackle corruption. Wow. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, my brethren was higher. One of the founding members of the organization of the Rastafari Committee. I jam down feel that the committee dropped the ball. You all was to invite the Honorable Prime Minister to say a few words. Let me do things right. Forget about the colors, Aya. Let me chant a new course. We're trying to build back this liberation where we had thousands of years. And the hair patches, let me just hear a man like so one day. We'll bring that out, we'll bring African liberation right this today. God bless man like Kevin Jordan. And the leader of Randashko never failed us yet. Those great days we had. And really, Zach down in the home and others, Elias, lot of white men, you know, even Julie Levin, but Julie now used to run from us some years there. They try to run away from African liberation there. This guy, the Calypsonian guy, what do you call him? Always coming from cultural Calypsonian. Clearly man. You know, all these guys putting great effort. I remember good days in Palmer School, Patrick. You should remember these days. Because you ain't just coming out. That's why I want you back in your town. That's why I want you back up there. Walk up there to finish. And you have to finish it. Have a good night, Patrick. This is Jam Down talking.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother Jam Down. I'll probably take this and I'll make this my last call for the night. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Thanks for it to be your last caller, Ambassador. Just to follow back on Jam Down. Jam Down, we are not disclosing no one, you know, but it's just that we're not giving the political parties them no emphasis to come and pursue their political aspiration to the movement of African liberation. Everyone is free to come because we're saying once you come and you'd like to make a contribution in a speech, you are willing. We're not going to withhold the mic from the Prime Minister or the leader of PAM or the leader of the Labour Party. None of them, even if Nevis have anyone who come, we're holding the mic from them. We have the mic will be freely given to anyone who would like to make a contribution. That's what we're doing. We ain't hiding none or pulling none. It's an African unity we are different. That's all we're saying. Give thanks.
Give thanks, my dear brother. That's the way we're going to end it. That's the way we're going to end it, my dear people. A pledge is a mere hollow, empty, meaningless piece of paper. So too, political promises are much like marriage vows. They are made at the beginning of the relationship between the candidate and voter, but they are quickly forgotten. My family, we looked at the promises, and there are many quotes that I'm sure by now we have become familiar with. And this old traditional proverb, a promise is a comfort to the fool. And they are great promisers. Are there no greater promisers, I should say, than those who have nothing to give? And my children family, a lot of that will come right now during this silly season. But we must remember, and I like this quotation by an unknown author who said, promises are like babies. They're easy to make, but they're hard to deliver. This German proverb states promises are like the full moon. If they are not kept at once, they diminish day by day. And if a promise is made by someone who doesn't act from a position of integrity, then the chances are it will be broken. And that person, that said person, in this case, will be just making the promise in order to have his own or her own desires met, and will more than likely not follow through with the promise. But I like the Peter Drucker, that management guru's quotation or proposition, which states, unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. And like we said in the beginning, that's the way we're going to end it. A promise is a comfort to a fool. And that's my story for tonight, and I'm not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. And as always, I want to thank you, the many callers. I want to thank you, the listeners, my Facebook and YouTube massive. And of course, my listeners on Radio ZIZ. Just remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, my Straight Talk family, and God's willing, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Go to church, do your chores, but remember, be kind to all whom you meet. Remember as well that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
For the morning light, give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night, for the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve. You better believe be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, to the Lord I kneel and pray. My heart and soul, take me through each day, my guardian to keep and my guide. Over every step I take, He will preside.